Once upon a time, at the very edge of a quiet village where the fields met the forest, there lived a dear little girl. She was small and gentle, with bright eyes that reflected kindness, and wherever she went, people turned to smile at her. She greeted everyone politely, helped when she could, and listened carefully when elders spoke. But of all who loved her, none loved her more than her grandmother. Her grandmother thought the child was the greatest treasure in the world. When the girl laughed, the old woman's heart felt lighter. When she visited, the cottage seemed warmer. There was nothing the grandmother would not have given her. One winter evening, when the wind rattled the shutters and snow lay thick on the ground, the grandmother sewed a little cap from soft red velvet. It was warm, bright, and cheerful, like a small flame against the cold. When the girl put it on, it suited her so perfectly that she never wished to wear anything else. From that day on, everyone called her Little Red Cap. Little Red Cap lived with her mother in a neat cottage near the village. Their life was simple and quiet. In the mornings, the smell of bread sometimes drifted from nearby ovens, and in the evenings, birds settled into the hedges as the sun dipped low. Little Red Cap helped her mother with small tasks and listened closely to every rule she was given, for she wanted very much to be good. One morning, as sunlight crept softly through the window, her mother called her to the table. "Come here, Little Red Cap," she said kindly. "Your grandmother is ill and weak today. Take this piece of cake and this bottle of wine to her. They will give her strength." She carefully placed them into a basket and tied the cloth over the top. "Set out before the day grows hot," her mother continued. "Walk nicely and quietly, and do not leave the path. If you wander, you may fall and break the bottle, and then your grandmother will receive nothing. And when you enter her room, remember to say 'Good morning' before you look around." "I will take great care," Little Red Cap promised, placing her small hand in her mother's. She meant every word. The path to her grandmother's house led deep into the forest, about half a league from the village. At first, the trees stood politely apart, allowing light to fall in gentle patterns on the ground. The air smelled of leaves and earth, and everything felt calm. But as Little Red Cap walked farther, the forest grew thicker. The trees leaned closer together, and shadows gathered beneath their branches. Still, she was not afraid. The birds sang overhead, and the path lay clear before her feet. Just as she stepped fully beneath the trees, a wolf appeared. Little Red Cap had never seen a wolf up close before. He stood quietly, his fur smooth and his voice soft. She did not know what a wicked creature he was, and she felt no fear. "Good day, Little Red Cap," said the wolf politely. "Thank you kindly, Wolf," she replied. "Where are you going so early?" he asked. "To my grandmother's," she said. "She is ill." "And what do you carry in your basket?" the wolf asked, tilting his head. "Cake and wine. Yesterday was baking day, and my grandmother needs something good to make her stronger." The wolf's ears twitched. He listened carefully. "And where does your grandmother live?" he asked. "A good quarter of a league farther into the wood," Little Red Cap answered. "Her house stands beneath 3 large oak trees just beyond the nut trees. You surely must know it." The wolf walked beside her for a while, his steps slow and measured. Inside, he thought, "What a tender little creature! What a fine meal she would make, better even than the old woman. I must be clever, and I shall have them both." Aloud, he said, "Little Red Cap, have you noticed how beautiful the forest is today? Look at the flowers and listen to the birds. You walk so seriously as if you were going to school, while everything around you is full of joy." Little Red Cap paused. She lifted her eyes. Sunlight danced across the leaves, and flowers bloomed in bright clusters beside the path. She thought quietly, "If I bring grandmother a fresh nosegay, it will surely make her smile, and it is still early. I will arrive in time." So she stepped off the path and began to pick flowers. Each time she bent down, she noticed another blossom farther away, brighter and prettier than the last. Without realizing it, she wandered deeper and deeper into the forest. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house. He knocked sharply at the door. "Who is there?" called a weak voice from within. "Little Red Cap," replied the wolf, disguising his voice. "She brings cake and wine." "Lift the latch, Bachini," said the grandmother. "I'm too weak to rise." The wolf lifted the latch. The door opened, and without a word he went straight to the bed and devoured the grandmother. Then he put on her clothes, pulled her nightcap low over his face, climbed into the bed, and drew the curtains tight. When Little Red Cap finally remembered her errand, she hurried along the path. The forest seemed quieter now, the birds had grown still, and the shadows felt longer. She was surprised to see her grandmother's door standing open. A strange uneasiness filled her heart. "Oh dear," she thought, "how uneasy I feel today. I usually love being with grandmother so much." She called softly, "Good morning," but no voice answered. She stepped closer to the bed and drew back the curtains. "Oh, grandmother," she said gently, "what big ears you have. The better to hear you with, my child. And what big eyes you have. The better to see you with. And what large hands you have. The better to hug you with." At last she said, "Oh, grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have. The better to eat you with." With that, the wolf leapt from the bed and swallowed Little Redcap whole. After his feast, the wolf lay back down and fell into a deep, heavy sleep. His snoring echoed through the cottage. A huntsman passing by heard the sound. "How loudly the old woman snores," he said. "I must see if she needs help." When he entered the room and saw the wolf lying in the bed, he cried, "So I find you here, you old sinner. I have long sought you." He raised his gun, but then paused. Perhaps the grandmother is still alive, he thought. So he set the gun aside and took a pair of scissors. Carefully, he cut open the wolf's stomach. First, he saw a flash of red, and then Little Redcap sprang out, crying, "Oh, how frightened I have been! How dark it was inside the wolf!" Then the grandmother came out too, alive but weak. They filled the wolf's belly with heavy stones, and when he awoke and tried to flee, the weight dragged him down, and he fell dead. The huntsman took the wolf's skin and went home. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine, and her strength slowly returned. Little Redcap thought deeply and said to herself, "As long as I live, I will never leave the path when my mother has forbidden me to do so." Some time later, she once again visited her grandmother. Another wolf tried to deceive her, but this time she stayed on the path and warned her grandmother. Together they outwitted the danger, and peace returned to the forest. From that day on, Little Redcap walked wisely. The forest grew quiet, and no harm ever came to her again. And so the story comes gently to its end.